I have always painted. Since I was this big, I've just always painted. And I was painting before I really was aware that there were such things as artists. I mean, and I've also had this little stubborn streak in me that prevented me from studying with anyone. I really did not want to be an art student. I did not want anyone to tell me how I felt. I know how I feel. And I think a problem with that is there are a lot of things with regard to technique and skills used for the craft of painting. I don't have those. All of these paintings were at least 90% done with my fingers, clawing, and I use both hands. I mean, they're done that way. I do not like the idea of a brush, and more even a pencil, separating me from the paper. And I like working on hard surfaces because I attack them. When I paint, it's one of the few times, if not the only time, that I can say I have an extreme state of concentration. Nothing crosses my mind. There are no outside thoughts. I'm not distracted. And my painting time is very pure. And because of that, you're just pouring yourself onto this canvas or something, and you don't think about the things that you don't know or techniques that you're not aware of. You just do what happens during those moments. Yes.
I've got two questions. I'd like to know how long it takes for you to do one of these paintings, and what's your painting style? Do you finish in a hurry? Or do you finish part, come back to it?
I'll tell you just what I do. It takes me a certain question. Number one, I walk around brooding in my studio, miserable, like this, with paint all over me. And I'm not painting. I'm carrying something inside of me, and I want it out. I want to get it out of there. And I spend days, weeks, a long time sometimes, carrying these things around. When I actually start painting, it varies. Some things I do in a shorter amount of time, others takes hours. But basically, each painting truly embodies everything I've ever done. It embodies all the studying I've done. It involves the travel. It involves pain and suffering. It involves all those things, and a painting represents a person's lifetime if it's an honest painting. And that's a very tricky question, but that's really my answer. That's my true answer to that question. I couldn't have done these paintings unless I'm 34. It took me 34 years to do them, because they're really the process that leads up to the creation of a piece of art. It really does involve all of you. And I think the thing that's becoming really critical for me is the fact that a painting represents this journey, and you never know where the journey's going. And I know on these four paintings, and I refer to them because they're behind me, but because they're the most recent in this show. I realized I had a very hard time on this one. This was the first of these four, and I had a hard time because I was struggling so hard with it. And to be honest doesn't really necessarily mean you have to struggle and suffer to express yourself honestly. And I stopped. I just sat down, and I thought about, why am I working so hard on this painting? This painting, this doesn't come from here. It comes from here. It comes from your whole body. And if I let that process be natural, it'll take care of itself. So.
Rick?
Yes.
Do you perceive the image in advance of painting it, or do you Just do it.
I have no preconceived ideas.
You have what?
I don't have preconceived ideas. I am very surprised. I'm very surprised by a lot of this work. Very surprised. And that's really important to me, that I sort of cleanse my head ahead of time and let whatever comes out come out. That's I find that it's once I'm doing that, it works out rather. I mean, I can do it very naturally, but it's hard to get that process going. And what does get to do a painting, because I don't consider myself a conceptual artist. I have to sit down and I have to have things in my hand, and I have to be like this. And until I get there and I'm touching and there's physical contact, there's a break in the electrical circuit. You know, what's going on isn't coming right out.